we need to be clear about what the issue is. I've already talked about this a bit, but Jocelyn Downey, she's the CIHR chair in Canada for issues related to health, the law, and ethics. And she says there's no difference between killing and letting die. So I think we have to analyze that question a little bit, because in modern philosophy is teaching people that. They say, oh, there's no difference between killing and letting die. And if you look at what the Quebec physicians are saying again about euthanasia, once again, they've accepted that there's no difference between killing and letting die. But I think that's a false concept. And let me explain to you. If you give me a lethal dose of drug, you inject me, what happens to me? I die from a lethal dose, right? And I will die from it. If you remove my medical treatment, well, what happens to me? I might die. It doesn't mean I will die. I might die, but I may actually get better. There are cases of people actually getting better. But I might die, but when I die, what do I die of? My medical condition. I die a natural death. There's obviously a big difference between saying no to medical treatment and dying a natural death, or possibly not even dying, or getting a lethal dose and dying of a lethal injection. But we should be clear about euthanasia too. We're almost always talking about lethal injection. People say, oh, well, you know, this is this or this. No, this is lethal injection, okay? And the concept of giving your physician the right to lethally inject you, I don't know how many of you really feel comfortable with that. So we must remain clear about the issue. The other side wants this confusion to exist. They don't like that I'm saying, no, this is what it's about, let's be clear. Why? Because the confusion works for them. People are saying, I met this member of parliament and he said, well, this is the status quo, and he just described the status quo, and I said, oh no, that's not the status quo. It's clearly not. It's not a situation where these things are happening every day, and if they are happening every day, then we're talking about the abuse of the actions that are happening every day. And I said, do you feel uncomfortable with that? Well, I do feel uncomfortable with the abuse of proper use of medication, etc. Therefore, I said, should you not be concerned about doing something about that? Let's be clear about what it's about. The other thing I'm going to say to you is this issue of choice. It's a very important point, because if you look at the statutes, but I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to go through the statutes a little bit, but if you look at the statutes, it's not really about choice. This choice is a misnomer. We all want choice. So they sell us this concept of, well, it's about my choice. I don't want to die this way, I want to die in this way, therefore it's my choice. But it's not about my choice, because in fact, it's really about the rules that a physician must follow to cause my death. So the whole choice misnomer is really a selling point. But let's go further to that. If it were really about choice, we'd be talking about suicide. Right? Suicide, people who commit suicide, if they are right-minded, of course, right? They are making a choice. They're doing it clearly to themselves. But when we say that the physician is directly involved in causing my death, is this truly now about choice? Further to that, I ask the question, if this were about choice, then let's look at the circumstances of the decision. The decisions are made when we're at the most difficult times of our life. We're going through a serious medical situation or a serious concern, and now someone's saying, this or euthanasia? Euthanasia or this? Is there truly a choice? Further to that, is it truly a choice when we're not providing effective palliative care for everybody in Canada? Is it truly a choice? Choice really is a misnomer on this issue. Well, let's look at the Bill C-384, because that's actually the thing that's being debated in Canada. We can look at the issue of choice from that point of view. So you could say, okay, Francine Lalonde, who introduced the bill, this is her third attempt. Just so you know, she was supposed to have her second-hour debate on this bill on November 16th. She then traded with the Bloc Québécois member of Parliament, and she became November 19th. And then she traded again, and it became December the 1st. Okay, and then the vote would have been December 2nd. And the other day she traded again. Now the bill is going to be debated on February 2nd. Now, why is she backing off? Well, she's backing off for a few reasons. One is she doesn't have support in Parliament. The only way to gain support in Parliament is to back off, because you're trying to then create this social pressure. And she wants the media to really pick up on this and turn the wheel enough that these members of Parliament feel like they have to support this Bill C-384. But when you look at it, and I explain it, you'll realize how bad a bill this is. So it amends both Section 222 and Section 241 of the Criminal Code. So the first thing is she's always telling people this is about assisted suicide for the terminally ill. That's what she says. But no, it's actually about euthanasia, which is homicide, which is lethal injection, or assisted suicide. It's about both. It's very clear. It's about Section 222 and Section 241 of the Criminal Code. Now, when you amend Section 222 of the Criminal Code, you're amending the homicide provision in our Criminal Code. That's very concerning. There's very good reasons why you don't want to create exceptions to homicide in the Criminal Code. Also very good reasons why you don't amend Section 241. The bill then says you must be at least 18 years old. Well, let's be clear about this. That's about the only safeguard in there, but it's unconstitutional. Now, why is this unconstitutional? Why would I say that to you? Well, if I were 17 years old and I qualified, meaning I had either physical or mental pain, or I was terminally ill, why would I be denied euthanasia if I could have it when I was 18 years old? Obviously, the courts would say we're all equal under the law, because that's what our Charter of Rights is. Our Charter of Rights is we're all equal under the law. And unless there's a real reason for saying under 18 years old, people under 18 can't have it, obviously they can have it. And the courts would strike that down. So that's just a little thing. The other thing is she says you must have to have either tried or expressly refused appropriate treatment. You got to understand, she's writing a bill and she wants you to think there's safeguards in the bill. But in fact, there aren't safeguards in the bill. So what she does is she adds a few of these clauses, which are really ink on paper. That's what I call them, ink on paper. And the reason is very simple. Well, you're always either going to have tried or expressly refused medical treatment, so why even put it in there? She says you must have either tried or refused appropriate treatment. And every time I'm either going to have to either try it or going to refuse it. It's one or the other. I must have experienced severe physical or mental pain without any prospect of relief. Well, let's look at this. We can understand that someone would say we should, if you're going to legalize euthanasia, you can understand this issue of physical pain. There's a lot of issues around that. But why mental pain? Who would be experiencing mental pain without any prospect of relief? Now, don't talk about Peter now, okay? This is Who's experiencing mental pain without any prospect of relief? Well, obviously depression fits. And actually, when the commentary on the bill is, everybody's admitting, yes, that would include depression. Now, if you have refused medical treatment, effective treatment, you can try, refuse or try. If you've refused effective medical treatment for your chronic mental pain, your depression, you would be qualified for euthanasia. Of course, you'd have to be 18 years old. Nonetheless, that would be struck down. Or you must be terminally ill. Well, she's telling everybody, oh, this is about terminally ill people. The bill doesn't say you have to be terminally ill. It never said that. It says or. That doesn't mean you have to be terminally ill. It means you could be terminally ill. So it's very important. It's not about terminally ill people. It's about people experiencing severe physical or mental pain or terminally ill. So this is available then to people who experience chronic pain. But let's look at this further. Who else does this include? So let's say I am insulin-dependent diabetic, and I am tired of my existence for whatever reason. I might be very depressed also. I might be very, very depressed. Insulin-dependent, I'm refusing appropriate treatment. Am I not terminally ill now? Yes. This bill, if you requested it, would allow euthanasia for someone who's insulin-dependent who's refused treatment because you're terminally ill. If, of course, you're 18. The bill allows euthanasia assisted suicide for people with chronic physical or mental pain. So what does that mean? It allows it for someone, and then it says you must appear to be lucid. Now, why does she use this term, appear to be lucid? You must be appearing to be lucid. You would think that this is supposed to be about competence, right? You're competent to make a decision. You would think that it should say that you are lucid. But she puts in the bill, appearing to be lucid. I think that has something to do with the fact that she included mental pain. Because if I'm going through severe depression, I might appear to be lucid. That doesn't mean I actually am lucid. Now, I have quite a few children at home, and I make breakfast every morning. Now, except for this morning, because my kids missed the bus, and I had to drive them to school. Not very good. Anyway, the fact is when I get up in the morning, I appear to be lucid. That doesn't mean I actually am lucid. Now, my wife is married to me, and she has a bunch of kids. And when she gets in the morning, she definitely appears to be lucid. The fact is appearing to be lucid does not mean you actually are lucid. So let's put this into perspective. If you're a person who lives with chronic depression and you appear to be lucid, are you actually making a free choice?